Welcome to the Mo WIFF 3 Up, 3 Down podcast. I'm your host and commissioner of Missouri Wiffle Ball League, Cam Smith, and I'm joined by Roy Rank. Roy, how are you doing on this opening week?
I'm doing great. And like you said, opening weeks this week, Thursday, and we are ready. The Archers are ready, and we've been talking about how excited we are to get back here, and we're looking forward to stepping on that field again Thursday night, man.
Yep, absolutely. 2 days away when you're hearing this. First off, apologies for our last episode. If you're listening on YouTube, it's the same every week or every episode. But if you listen on the pod, normally we have some intro music, some outro music, some little sounds in between the segments there, and they changed the whole editing software. So I was not taking the time to learn how to do that all at midnight. So we're going full on unedited. Nothing ever gets taken out of these episodes, but no intro music, nothing. We're just straight off the mics here. So bear with us, but it's still gonna be a good, fun pod. One of my favorite pods of the year.
Oh yeah.
Uh, it's the prediction pod. But like you said, Rory, season 4 is here. Uh, Thursday, Mo WIFF returns. We have all 8 teams in action, which happens only 3 times every year. So one of our more special nights, and I think for me personally, it is one of my favorite nights of the year because it's the first time we really get to see everybody and hang out all together at the same time. What do you feel about opening night in general?
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Like you said, it's one of the 3 times that we all get together. I like playing 2 games a night, but I love these nights because you get to see everybody,
Yeah,
especially when you're there all night. Everybody shows up and it's a good time. But you kind of touched on it. We're going to see a lot of new faces in the league
yeah,
this year, and I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. We had a lot of interesting rookies drafted, a couple other leagues going to be represented in
yep,
our league, kind of combining. So, it's going to be a great Thursday night. Of course, it's going to be their first look at kind of what they got
yeah,
themselves into and the
exactly.
caliber that we play at. So it's always a good time, man. And I can't wait.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's not like any other night that we're normally playing where, there's double headers and, strategy is a little bit more involved in those games.
Right.
This is like opening night. It's like, what do we do with our lineups? What do we do? Especially now with some of these teams that have, um, you know, 7, 8 guys. Who do you play? Do you play everybody? It's opening night. It's some guys got to make tough decisions, but um,
Correct.
overall though, it's a lot of fun. Um, before we get into anything, I do want to say I took the day off work. It's opening day. I'm gonna be ready. But I am I think a few of us might be going up to Top Golf in the afternoon, early afternoon. If anyone in the league wants to join, let me know and come hang out, hit some golf balls before we go play some games. But also, we're gonna stop in at Lit Cigar Lounge and Arch Nemesis Brewery, our two of our sponsors this year, located in Chesterfield. So it's a short drive to the field. You know, I thought might as well swing by these guys and show them love for helping us do what we're able to do. So if you want to join in with a couple of us, whoever wants to grab a drink or hit some golf balls or just come hang out. You don't have to do anything but hang out. You're more than welcome. Just let me know. I'll know I sent something in the group chat as well. But just looking forward to a good day overall. Uh,
Yep. Always good
all
to
right.
support the sponsors, man.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah. Got
yeah.
to show them love.
Yep, for sure.
All right. If you're new to the podcast, some of you guys might be. I know we have some rookies in the league who may have not listened to our podcast before, maybe after the draft episode, and I didn't really explain kind of what we do here. We have 3 segments, 3 up, 3 down, right? 3 segments, 3 different topics. This is a special episode where we pretty much talk about one topic, and it's predictions. Uh, we'll start with the American League. In this episode, we'll break down each team and kind of what we think. Their season will kind of look like. And then we'll do the same for the National League in segment 2. And then in segment 3, we will wrap up with my favorite segment. It's the awards prediction. With that being said, Rory, are you ready to get into the American League?
Yeah, I am, and we got some sweet logos for these leagues for the divisions this year too, with the American League division and the
Pumped.
National League division just got released the last week. But this prediction podcast, man, I think this is like the first podcast I ever listened to when I came into the league, and everybody was kind of you and Adam were talking about what you thought the 2022 season was going to bring, and man, it kind of gets you excited because it's going to
Yep.
put some people on the defensive, but it's also going to, it's going to raise the expectations for some people too. You don't want to let anybody down, and I felt the same way. I didn't want to let anybody down, and anybody that predicted anything for me. So this is going to set the tone for how we think the season is going to go, and of course, it's going to go some other way, but we do
Of
our
course.
best,
I
and
mean, let's
we'll
count
make the best effort.
let's start with the predictions here. Our first prediction of the season, over under number of things we get wrong in this podcast today.
That's a good stat
Just
line. I don't know.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to do, I'll take the over because
Yeah,
I'm always wrong on these, but it is fun. I just like I enjoy the conversation and breaking it all down and really just
definitely.
going through everything. So. All right.
Absolutely.
Before we get on here on a tangent too long, let's go ahead and let's get started with the American League. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go team by team. We're gonna start with the record from last year. Obviously, some of these teams are a little bit different, but we're gonna start with the records from last year, regular season records, and we're gonna give our predictions on uh if they're gonna be better or worse, and then we'll kind of give some other feedback along with the with each team as well. So, Roy, let's start with your
Sounds good.
team, the Archers. 9-8 in the regular season last year. You got a wild
Mm.
card spot and made your way all the way to the championship. All right, let's start with the 9-8 record. Regular season, you gonna go more or are you gonna go less? Or you could go the same because these are different. These you could go the
Right
same
on.
as well.
Yeah, I gotta take my team. We're gonna take the over. The Archers last year had a starting pitcher in Jordan Smith, and we had a second pitcher TBD every
Yep.
week, which that's what we knew going into the season. But I'm telling you right now, with Jordan, and then we've revamped our pitching lineup. I expect to win over 9 games,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Uh Preseason power ranking number one is the
They,
Archers.
yeah,
So voted on by the front
appreciate it.
office. They are the number one ranked team. Adding Tony Cochran and Jay Rich into this lineup. Um, I got to take this over as well. I had them as my number one team that I voted in. So I know some of you guys are asking what my power ranking list was. Keep a tally. Archers were number one on my list. Um, you know, I I had you guys actually winning about like 12 games. I actually kind of went through
Yeah,
the schedule and kind of just quickly um, put matchups together and what I thought the season would look like. But I had 12 wins. That's very good record. Um, It'd be interesting to see, how you guys utilize that pitching staff. I know Jordan got
yeah.
taxed a lot last year, carrying you guys a lot with that second pitcher to be determined. But now it's, hey, you got a couple guys that can fill that void. So, he
Yep.
doesn't have to pitch all the time, and you guys can get some wins other ways, especially with that deadly, deadly lineup. And I think that's why it's a no-brainer there to take that over.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody that voted number one for us. We appreciate it, but at the end of the day, that's not what we're after. We're after to be, labeled number one at the end of the year, and all that number one does in my mind is just says, "Hey, we're coming for you." The league wants to put the Archers on notice. We understand that you guys think you're good, and we think you're good, but we're coming after you. So we're we're prepared for that, but like I said, I appreciate anybody that feels that we're ranked number one. I actually did not have us ranked number one. So
Hey, I didn't even remember that.
yeah, it's all right. Yeah. I mean,
I don't remember
everybody
who
wants to
voted
know.
for who, so like I can't tell you
Yeah.
anyone who voted for anyone.
Yeah.
Um, let's give a prediction on the team MVP. Who do you think is going to be the key to you guys hitting that over?
That would be Jordan Smith. The guy, he carried our team last year, and this year we don't want him to carry us. We want to build around him. But Jordan Smith is we go as he goes. No doubt
Yeah,
about it.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Got to be
Yeah.
Jordan. But I think also like it's going to be huge for the role players to contribute. Whoever that number two pitcher
Yeah,
is might really be the key into
yeah,
getting you guys those a lot of those extra wins, and then really setting up your postseason
yeah.
um, pitching staff with Jordan healthy. I think that'd be a huge win for you guys.
Yeah, between me, Tony, and Jay Rich, we're going to find somebody that's going to get us that second game win. And like I said, I'm back. I'm ready to throw.
Love
Just
it.
a matter to see where how well I can compete.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. But Tony, you know what he brings to the table, and Jay
Yeah,
Rich obviously is capable in his own right. So we're
absolutely.
excited.
All right. Next team, let's go on to the Mambas. 8-9 overall record last year. I'll start this one out since you started the last one. Kind of go back and
All
forth
right.
here. That way, I can't just copy what you say every time. Uh, I actually have the Mambas at an over. I think 8-9 um did not do them justice for how well they hit last year. They're
Correct.
bringing back that same lineup with the addition of Michael Daub, and I think that's only going to help them. I think well, I'll get to my key here in a minute, but um, I think their pitching improves, and I think O'Rear will bounce back, have a better year on the mound. I know he didn't throw as many strikes as he wanted to last year, and that cost for some games. And they always found a way to like lose, and
Yep.
it's really happened
Yeah.
like every year is they find weird ways to lose games, whether it's walk-off home runs or
Yep.
they play so good that they get to extras and they lose. You know,
Yes.
it was a tough year for them, record wise. Unfortunately for them in the playoffs, it kind of just didn't work out with, availability for guys that had predetermined stuff going on. So hopefully that doesn't happen again this year. But um, I don't think, and this division is tough. Very, very tough. I think there's, I mean, really every team in this league is really good now, but um, this Mambas team, I don't see them. It's got to start clicking, and I think
Correct.
this is the year that it's going to happen.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you. I have them over 8 wins. I don't put them necessarily in the 12, 13 category just because, everything's a grind in this league. But I see Dutton taking another step, O'Rear dialing it in. And, Cole has shown he can come in and pitch any given night too. And he's definitely done a good job of being able to shut people down. And I thought he threw with a lot more movement last year, a little more velo, had better accuracy. So,
Said he's
they
feeling
have
he's feeling healthy now, so that could
good,
be huge.
good. Yeah, and all those guys can hit. O'Rear,
Yeah,
Parker Bunch. I mean, he hits some great pitching,
yeah,
and Alex Eggert has found a way to get one over the fence a time or two as well. So, you know, I expect big things from the Mambas. I'm not a Mambas hater by any means,
yeah,
and I think this is the year, like you said, that they could put it all together for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Gonna be exciting to watch. This is a good team. Always a tough team to play against. No one likes to face that lineup, that's for sure.
No,
Um,
no,
who I guess I'll start with this one as well.
yeah. Who do you think?
Uh, key to the Mambas season, their what did I say? Like team MVP.
Yeah, you said team
Um,
MVP,
yeah,
key
yeah.
key
Either way,
player.
key player for the Mambas. I think it's got to be Dutton again this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go Cole. Cole's got to bounce back at the plate this year. Have a better year than he did last year. I want to say his strikeout numbers were up last year. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but just from remembering how like watching the games, um, kind of felt that way. I know he struggled at times. Um, so if he's got to be the key for them offensively. If he goes, the rest of the team's gonna just go. But I think James Dutton is gonna be the guy here, uh, taking on what I see is probably a true ace role for this team, and could very well compete for the Cy Wiffle Award this year. I mean, as a rookie, he stood out last year. He was an all-star.
Yes.
Um, I only see him improving, and I think in year two we're gonna see some more special stuff from Mr. James Dutton.
Yeah, I agree. And Cole he had 33 strikeouts last year. I just wanted to check the stats, and that's probably more than he's had in any other time.
I could
But
see it.
this pitching just keeps getting better, and strikeouts they matter. But here's the thing with Cole. he can punish anyone. So I'll
Yep.
take some strikeouts all day for that guy that can hit the best pitching in our league. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Mojo, a
Mm,
14-3 record last year, only three losses, the number one overall seed. They won the division, and they bring back pretty much the same squad. Lose um they lose Colin, who they had at the end of the season.
yes.
They started the year with Greg. He's no longer coming back as well. But they lose Chris Metter, who
Yep.
great fielder, good hitter. Um, but they bring in Bryson back, and they also add in Connor Jaso, who we talked about in our last episode. 14-3. Where do you have the mojo here?
I went ahead and took the under because I think it's 13 wins.
Okay,
And
it's still pretty dang good.
14's a feat in of itself. That's three losses, and that here's the thing with the Mojo. These guys, they're scary. They're my number one ranked team because they're scary. And I say
Yeah.
that they're scary because the pitching is elite. It's
Uh,
elite.
Real quick, Mamba's numbers 5 in the power rankings. I had them four
Number
in mine.
five. You had them four?
I had them
Okay.
four.
Yeah, and I had the Mamas, just want to double check here. I had the Mamas ranked at 6. So I
Okay.
had them a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But
I I have a hard time, putting them. I think they're a good
sure.
team. But enough
Yeah.
about them. We're on to the Mojo.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were number 2 in the power ranking. So go ahead, continue,
Yeah.
good sir.
Yeah, no problem. And the Mojo, like I said, they were my number one ranked team. Only because I feel that this is a power rankings for basically the season. Obviously,
Yep.
you're looking at who has the best chance to win the championship. If the Mojo's pitching holds up, and it's our job as a league, Archers included, to stop that pitching. But they have on paper the best throwers in the league, and I don't think it's debatable.
Yeah, I'll debate
In
it.
a whole lineup as a team,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
individually.
That's
The
true.
depth,
That's true.
the depth.
Yep,
I'm
the
not
depth,
saying
yeah.
that.
If they have everyone there,
Yeah,
they're
yeah, correct.
hands down that team. And
They should not throw anyone that's not capable of throwing a complete game shutout any night, in my mind.
yeah, when you have Sam who can throw, who barely threw last year,
Yeah,
Jackson who can throw, he barely threw last year
correct.
and still finished third or fourth in Wiffle. You have Gus, you have Connor, like you
Yep,
have Brett. Like Brett
yep,
has finished top 3 in Wiffle before.
yep, yep,
Like this is a very, very, very good and scary team. They also have the young guys who are coming on and getting better and better every year, so
yep.
that like that's only going to help. Um, I they were the number 2 power rank team. I had them at number 2 as well. Hard to argue this lineup and pitching staff. But I did have the under as well. 14 wins and 3 losses is a lot. Like
That's a lot. Yeah,
14 wins is a lot, and every team in this league is very, very good. Also, your division is very, very tough. I still have them double
correct.
digit wins. I think I have so far Archers, Mambas, and Mojo all in double digit wins. Um, Going to be a very tough race in this division. Um, but I would not be surprised if the Mojo continue and keep that same record or even better because not only we talked about their pitching staff but their hitting is just as good. Sam
Yeah,
can hit anybody. He's proven that time and time again.
yeah,
And when the Gus is here he can do that, but the rest of these guys, no slouches either. I mean, any one of them have the
no,
potential to hit a home run or get on base, and then that just improves it for Sam. So um
yeah,
very, very scary team. I think this is going to be a very tight race, but
yeah.
I did take the under here of 14 wins just because that's hard to replicate.
It is, and I don't want to jump the shark for myself here and a whole soliloquy that I'm going to do later probably. But these rankings and this whole podcast is based on optimal lineup, but
Yep.
you don't know when Gus isn't going to be there and Connor
Yeah.
isn't going to be there and Jackson's not going to be there. Okay,
And
now wait a minute. that's going to change the metrics because
Yeah.
now you have Skibby and you have Spencer, guys that, they're definitely good in their own right, but they're not necessarily going to shut someone down. I anticipate some hits are going to be given up in that game. And so they may drop two that night. They may
Yeah.
drop one that night. And so it just depends on who shows up, and everybody
Yeah.
knows that.
With two guys in
You know,
Kansas City and
yeah,
Jackson being Jackson,
yeah,
I did take that into account, and that's why I had the under. If
ah,
I
yeah,
knew they were gonna have all eight guys every week,
right,
I would I might take the over. But
yeah,
that's gonna be tough, you know. Even I
yeah,
mean, even if they are all there, it's still tough. But um,
yeah,
could definitely see it. But definitely gonna be a tough team to beat, no matter what lineup they put out there, because every one of those guys can bring something to the table that is good for the league. So,
correct.
all right, new team in the league and in this division. So no win-loss record from last year. It is the Kings, led by Nick Bone. Um, let's just say here, let's put an over/under number. Um, let's go 7.
7. Okay. It's actually what I wrote down.
7 wins. Over or under 7 wins, or is it my turn?
It is
I think it's
your
my turn.
turn. Yeah, it's your turn.
Um, Man, I could see, like
Tough.
set. I want to light a fire into these boys because I know they got it, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this year with how much they've been working. I'm going to say under just because they're in this tough division, um,
Yes,
but they're going to be competitive in every game, and you can easily bring out wins when you do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they hit that over. Um, but I will go the under just because it's going to be tough in this division and playing 3 extra games against those 3 teams. Very, very tough.
yes, I agree. And I take the 7 as it is. I actually say 7.
Nice.
That's what I
I
wrote
like that.
down.
Perfect.
Um, I think that's a goal for the Kings. I mean, you win 7 games, anything can happen. You may be competing for anybody for that wild card at that
Yeah.
point. And this is not disrespect to the Kings by any means. They're ranked last in the power rankings.
Yep.
I had them last in the power rankings, but it's only because we don't know. We don't
Yeah.
know. There's an unknown factor to this team. We don't know how they're going to gel. We don't know necessarily how Nick Bone's going to
I
lead.
know they're how
Although
they're gonna gel. They're gonna gel really well.
I feel like you're going to gel pretty good, but we have to hedge against we don't
Yeah.
know, and so that drops you down a little bit.
Yeah. This is Nick's first true.
Yes.
He's the ace. Hall, you're the number 2.
Yep.
Now you guys get to go out in there and prove it. Like we get to see what you guys can actually do instead
Yep.
of fighting with each other for getting minimal starts.
Yes.
You guys have the ball in your hand now, and now we're gonna
Yes.
get to see what you're made of. Hall pitched so well last year.
Absolutely.
I was looking the other day. I saw a couple of the highlight graphics, and I was like, damn, like dude, he did fucking well. And
Yep.
Nick was an all-star last year, so like
Yep.
both of them have the potential that could easily put it together and work as a good 1-2 to pick up wins all year
Yeah.
long.
And Nick, we know how he can dominate a game when on any given night. So you're looking at a team that if they put up a couple runs on you, all of a sudden it's whoa, these Kings are up and
Yeah.
they're pressing, and they may pull off a couple surprise wins. I actually anticipate them beating some of the best teams
I can
record
see it.
wise in this league. So this is
Yeah.
not a knock on the Kings at all. That these guys are ready to play. We know that. We've seen what they can do. It's just they got a tough division in the sense of the talent that's above them that's established.
Yeah.
They could easily put this league on its head, no doubt.
Yep, absolutely. And I think the key to them, I know we didn't talk about keys for the Mojo, but I think it's availability for them. Um, but the key for for me for the Kings is gonna be Nick Bone as the leader. What
Mm-hmm.
he can do at the plate and on the mound only sets the tone for the rest of that team.
Correct.
But like I said, I think that team chemistry is top tier in the league,
Oh yeah,
and that alone I think could sneak them out a few wins for sure.
definitely. I agree.
All right, division winner. Who you got?
Well, it would be against my own argument if I didn't stick with the Mojo. I do feel like they are going to win this division. That our goal as the Archers is not to win the division. Our goal is to be in the playoffs.
Oh, look
I
at
mean,
that.
if we win the division, that's great, but that is not my personal goal. And as the manager of this team, that's not what we're striving to do. We plan to win every game, but our goal is to win a championship. So if the Mojo compete and win the division, that's fine. But like I said, they're going to have tough pitching every night. So
Yeah.
pitching wins in wiffle ball, and I just see these guys doing what they did last year, winning games and being at the top of the bracket or being at the top of the division at the end of the day. So
Yep. I think yeah, they've won the division twice in
yeah,
year one and year three. Um, I don't see them doing it again.
okay,
I have the Mambas.
wow,
Surprise,
all right, let's
surprise.
take it. Yeah,
Um, I think in this competitive division, I think that there's going to be wins taken away from just about everybody. And it's going to be a very close race. I had them all between 1 and 2 games, like the top three of you. Um, and I think, you know, depending on what you guys kind of do with Jordan, like you said, taking a step back, making sure you guys are ready to go for playoffs, gives the Mambas a little edge there. They're hungry, they're fighting, they want to get there. And in the Mojo, I could easily see them winning the division, especially who shows up. But I took that into account of you know, I just because I don't know who's going to show up
right,
what night. Um,
right.
so I gave the edge to the Mambas because I know for a fact those guys will be there every week, and they're going to be a very competitive and tough team to beat. So I got the Mambas winning their first division title, and maybe that will help them because they always struggle in that first round of the
Get that
playoffs.
by, get that by.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.
All right,
I don't mind.
who do you got in second place? I guess I'll start here.
Yeah,
Second place in the division. I'll take the Mojo.
okay.
Only like you said, you guys are just fighting to get in the playoffs. I think all three of these teams are going to make the playoffs. I know we'll get into that later. Like I said, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to be a 1-2 range, but uh, I think yeah, like you said, the key for you guys is not necessarily to win the division. It's to get Jordan healthy in the playoffs. That's not only what you guys want to see, but that's what I want to see. I want to see Jordan healthy. I want to
Yes.
face the best guy in the playoffs and beat the best. And if I lose to the best, oh well,
Yep.
hats off.
Oh well. Yep.
And that's how the game goes. Um, but I think the Mojo got the second spot here.
Yeah, I'm going to respectfully disagree. I do put
That's
myself
fine.
here.
That's all right.
No,
Hey,
I mean I have high hopes for our team, obviously. So I mean I really do feel like I feel like it'd be, pretty unlikely that we wouldn't finish somewhere between first and third,
yeah.
right? So I
Like I
mean
said, all three of you guys gonna have
we'll
double
go
digit
two.
wins.
Yeah. But anything can happen, so I think we're gonna get second. And then um obviously that's going to bring me with having the Mambas at third. Not to jump too far ahead here, but
That's
you
all
had
right.
Mambas one, I had Mojo one, so I have us at second, and then the Mambas will be our third place in the American League Division
Hey,
team. What do
one
you
of
think of
us
that?
might be right, but we both might be wrong.
We might be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, that leaves the Kings and fighting for a wild card spot for both of us. I
Yep.
have you guys fighting for that other wild card spot, and you have the Mambas. We'll talk about that at the end of the next segment we have, which is the National League prediction part.
Yep.
All right, so we'll do the same thing. Maybe we'll go a little bit faster this time because I feel like we kind of ramble on a little bit, especially
We
myself.
covered it in depth,
I
very
I
in
do
depth.
that. We're gonna keep going, right? I always do.
That's what everybody
All right,
wants to hear. They want to hear the hard hitting
yeah.
analysis, man.
All right. So same thing.
Okay.
We're gonna start with the Thunderbirds.
Okay.
Won the division the last 2 years, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they won in 22, and did they win? Yeah, they won last year.
Yeah, both years they've been a team.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, I think that's
Pull it
right.
up.
I don't know. Oh well.
They won
I,
they won last year,
I think it's
and
right.
they were also the winners in 22. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, bad. So, uh, 12-5 record. Um, over or under 12 wins for the Thunderbirds.
I am going to have to take the under, and that's because the Thunderbirds have lost one of the better players in the league to us, but then they also lost another player, and I don't know where they're at pitching wise, so I have to take the under for the Thunderbirds. I have them at 8 wins. Most of those I have tribute to Andrew Nichols himself.
Yep. I agree. I'm gonna go with the under here. 12 is a lot of wins. And losing Tony, losing J Rich, losing Hitchcock, getting some good pieces back,
Absolutely.
but losing Tony is a big shock. Um, a big piece that hurts. Um, it's gonna be tough on Andrew. But I saw Spencer Foss throw a little bit yesterday. Looked pretty good
Good.
like that. I think he's only gonna get better. Um, but
He
it's
is the
gonna be
right pick.
tough. It's gonna be tough. I mean, 12 wins is a lot, and you're you're really kind of rebuilding this whole team right now with all the moving parts from last year to this year. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because Andrew is one of the top players in the league and could easily win you a game every week.
Every week.
Um, but yeah, what does that lineup look like? I don't know. I think there's just a lot of questions there. Um,
Right.
and who knows how it all comes together.
Yeah, who the number two, somebody Wilbrink, Vogler. I don't think Rogers is going to throw this year, but uh, Spencer Voss, like you said, those number two guys really step into that role and start winning games. Then
Yeah.
that 12 doesn't look so insane.
Yeah, Dominic can pitch as well too. So like, I
Oh, I
mean,
forgot about Sachowski.
they definitely have the options there. It'll just be how it kind of gets all put together, how this team comes together in bonds. They were ranked seventh in the power rankings. But I think it's just a lot of the unknown. It's like who from this team is really going to come and stand out. Um, and what kind of just happens with them, anything can happen on any given night, especially when you got Andrew out there. Andrew can go up with
Correct.
anybody in the league,
Anybody.
and
Yep.
he's done that time and time again. Um, I know his arm was a little tired at the end of last year. We'll see how that holds up this year. I think I know all of us are feeling that. Um,
Correct.
but overall, I got him a little bit under. But Andrew's definitely the key here for this team if they're gonna make a good push towards getting towards that 12 wins.
Yep. I agree.
All right, let's talk about the Bombers.
Bombers, your team.
The Bombers, 8-9 last year.
Mm-hmm. Got to predict yourself.
Smash that over button, baby. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Thought
that's
you
not
were
me pointing
tricking
down.
me. Yeah, I thought you were
That's me
tricking
hitting
us.
the over button. Uh
Okay.
Bombers over 8 wins. As of right now, I'm feeling pretty good with my arm.
Oh,
Um So I like that. I think, my goal is to throw more than I did a little bit last year. And if I can do that, I think we're in a prime position to be sitting above 8 wins, especially with this lineup that we have. It
yep.
hurts losing Nick Bone, but having Tommy for a whole season, adding Ethan and um and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when they see Jake on opening night. Um, doesn't look like the same guy. Looks good.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, we're excited. This team, I'm very excited for. Our defense is going to look really good, and it's always been pretty good. Um, but now I got a huge, tall, young, agile kid out there who can bring, maybe knock some home runs back like Adam North did last year. Um, but
Johnny Gunn.
our pitching staff though, I'm very excited for. Johnny looks really good. Sam, I saw him throw yesterday, looks really good. I'm excited for this team. I just I think with how I'm feeling about my health, I think
Yeah.
we'll be over 8 wins for sure.
Yeah, I have you at the over two, and I'm just gonna echo what you said, man. It depends on your health and how much you pitch, and it sounds like you're going opening night. There's a graphic out there that the Bombers are throwing you opening night, so I'm thinking that's just the beginning of things to come for you. I don't know that you threw as much as you probably wanted to last year, so I
I
assume
took
this year,
I threw quite a bit, but it was like limited like spots, right? It was just like
right?
I was very hesitant on when I wanted to throw and very planned. But
Yeah,
I think now this year the thought process is to get back to what I was doing in the first 2 years, and that is get on the mound and win us games.
yep, that's it, man.
So
And then you got to have that second pitcher step up, whether it's Tommy or Gilda House or Johnny Gunn, whoever it might be.
yeah,
And if he can sneak some wins out for you guys, there should be no reason the Bombers can't pull off an over on the
yep,
8 wins.
yeah. I'm excited. I'm feeling confident, feeling good, feeling healthy. I was in the gym for a long time and over the off season feeling really good, and then I had a baby a month ago and haven't been in the gym since. But
Nice. Yeah,
but still feel really good. So
that's
um
good.
hopefully hopefully I can just keep my mind right and have that dad strength and
There you go.
maybe that'll help out a little bit. So,
Dad strength better than dad bod, trust me.
yep. I think the key for us for sure is myself and my health, like you said. So
Yeah,
we'll
there's
see how that goes.
no doubt.
All right, let's jump ahead to everyone's least just kidding. Everyone's most favorite team, the Melonheads. 11-6 last year. After a very slow start, they bounced back and ended up with 11 wins. Um, did get Caleb in that back half of the season, but they lose Caleb.
Yeah,
A little bit different look of this team.
yeah.
Losing Sam Eichenlaub as well, but this team, this core, without Sam Eichenlaub and Caleb Schweiger, did make the championship series the year prior. So a loss in the championship series and then a championship
Yeah.
with an 11-6 record. What do you think of them in season four? Over, under, or right at 11 wins?
Well, I think we all know it's going to be under.
It
Here's the real talk here. Losing Sam Eichenlaub's huge, man.
is.
Losing Caleb, that's obvious, right?
Yeah,
But losing Sam, that's a glue guy, man. We're gonna miss Sam Eichenlaub as a
I
league.
already do.
I do too. I do too. And I I don't know. The Melonheads, here's a team. They come out in the regular season, they don't really knock anybody's socks off at all. But come playoff time, they figure it out and they put themselves in the championship. At least as far as I've been in this league, they've done that. So
Yeah.
you never count these pesky melon heads out, but they will not win 11 games this year in my mind. What about you?
Uh, yeah, I had the under as well. They were ranked fourth in the power rankings. I had them ranked fifth or sixth. I can't remember.
Ah,
I
I put them
can't
at
remember.
3.
I had him fifth or sixth. So Spencer, there you go. I don't remember which one. If you text me, I'll look it up later. But I think it's going to be tough to replicate 11 wins. Uh, losing those guys. I know they made the championship 2 years ago with basically this team. Adding Adam North now and Tony Saccio. I mean, good players.
Yeah.
Um, but the pitching in this league is just I think it's so much more dominant. We saw it last year. Everybody's averages went down. Um, and you know, Spencer and Jason, both very good pitchers, both very good players, but I don't think they are the top tier arm as some of the other teams have on their teams. Um, but they can compete in every game because of
Correct.
those two guys are very good. And what's good for them is the fact that um, they give you a chance, they give themselves a chance to win not only game one every night, but also game two. Um,
You got it.
because they are both good pitchers. Some teams, you have a really good pitcher and then you have a tier down, obviously a little bit.
Right.
But they are very even in what they bring to the table on the mound. I think for me is if one of them struggle, who's the next go-to
Who's
guy?
that guy? Yeah.
I
Or has to
think
work,
I yeah,
if
I
somebody
think
misses a game.
yeah. I think that's where I think the under comes into play. Um, it could be tough. I mean, Tony Saggio, we've seen um, some good things out of him. We've seen some good things out of Adam North, but I know Adam had the arm injury. I don't know if he'll be back.
Yeah. Remember that last
It's
year.
just going to be tough. It, man, 11 wins is a lot. I know they've been to the championship the past 2 years, but when I look at it, 2 years ago when they made the championship, if in the first round they played the Empire, who had no one on their team, they didn't even really want to be there.
Yeah.
And they only play the Empire because our rules were not the same as they are now. And the Mambas, who were the better team, were not in the playoffs. I think they would have had a lot of
Right.
trouble in that first series with the Mambas. Then they faced the Thunderbirds, and their trash talking actually won them that series
It's amazing.
by bullying them to start Tony, who was hurt,
Yes.
who pitched really well still. It was
Yeah.
two very good games against them, and they came out, and credit to the Melonheads because they did what they do
That's right.
best is
Yep.
they bully you, they trash talk, and then they play the mind games, and then they pull out the wins on the field. They do put in the work and get the job done.
Yep.
But
Yep.
two series that could have went a different way if things planned out, and then they obviously got swept in the finals. Um, but then
Correct.
come back next year, um, and their hitting was nowhere near as good as it was the year before in the regular season. But still, they get into the playoffs, and that time you have Caleb, who you no longer have, and
Well,
that's a big piece missing when you don't have a guy throwing over 90 miles an hour anymore. Um,
they're yeah. Those
but
melon heads, they're wearing those memes and peanut butter rings because they made a great trade, if you will, and they got Caleb on their team. Without Caleb, you'll never convince me that they don't win that championship. The guy just kept getting better and better, and
yeah,
without Caleb, they're gonna really understand back to where they're gonna go back to where they understood where they were last year, that they need that elite pitching to get to the playoffs, to
yeah.
get to the championship. But they've always they've always been able to rise above their raisin in my mind, so I never count them out.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to count them out anyway. I mean, anytime you make the championship in back-to-back seasons, it's not just a fluke. There's reason behind it,
Yeah.
and it could happen again. But yeah, if I'm anywhere else besides fucking St. Louis, God, can we pass the damn bill to get sports gambling legal, please? Um,
Forward
but
Illinois.
yeah, I know, right? I do to make my bets
Right.
anytime I'm at Fast Eddie's.
Exactly.
But if we were able to place bets here, I'm gonna bet the under. Um, let me hear it. I know they'll talk their trash, and they can. They got a championship,
That's
which is
right.
great. If you got a championship, talk your trash. I got two of them. No one else does.
That's
Uh,
right.
uh, but yeah, I think it's going to be a tougher season for the Millheads this time. But they're going to come out, they're going to have fun, and that's a good way to play the game, and that's a good way, similar to what we said about the Kings earlier, is a team that gels together and vibes together. It's always good for a couple of wins. So,
Right.
who knows? I think this is one of the biggest mysteries in the league this year is what do the Millheads do, especially after winning a championship? What
Correct.
like what are like is that fire still there? Do you want to prove everyone wrong? Do you want to
Right.
say, hey, that wasn't just a fluke, it wasn't because of Caleb, but we are still a really good team? or is it, hey, we got our championship,
We're
let's go
good.
out there and have fun. Like
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be the interesting part for me is where their mindset is at, and I think that's my key for them is what direction do they want to take in this season.
I agree 100%, man. They're talking about a team, honestly, probably minus the Sam Eichelab, the loss there. It's probably the team that's been best kept together. They
Yeah,
have the most team camaraderie of anybody in the league because, these guys are just day in, day out. And then they've added
yeah.
Tony Saggio, who's never short of getting in somebody's head. So they
That's a huge glue guy for them.
they know what they're doing, man. These melon heads, you can't count them out. They won't go away.
Never do. Never do. All right. Let's talk about the Purge, new team. So obviously no record from last year. We'll stick with that same over under number we used for the Kings as a new team at 7. What do you got over or under 7 wins for the Purge?
Taking the over, man. I'm
Okay. I
taking
like
the
it.
over.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Purge fan here. I like what they've got going on, man. They had the number one pick. They take Pat Ballman, and I honestly think it could be even higher than I have them at 8 wins. I think it could be even higher than 8 wins, man.
Yeah, I could see it going either way. Um,
Yes, exactly.
it's tough. Where were they at in the power rankings? 6? I think they
Uh
finished 6.
yes.
Um,
And
and
I had them at 5.
I had them at either 5 or 6. I had them in the melon heads. Like I can't
Right at
remember
it.
which order I had them in.
Okay.
Um, very similar, very or not necessarily similar, but uh, power rankings in my mind. Um, but I have them actually right at 7. I think
Okay.
as a new team, a couple of new players, especially, especially you have a number one pick who really not a rookie, but it might take a second
Correct.
to adjust to the league and the style. Um, the biggest question mark for me here is their lineup.
Okay.
Um, I mean, they got some guys that can hit and some guys that can put the ball over the fence at any point. We've seen that,
Yep.
especially with Greg and Brian.
Yep.
I think those are their two keys for them hitting. I think Colin and Caleb will come along a lot better this season, but like, how long does it take before they really get going? I know Caleb really struggled, striking out a lot last year. Um, so if he can limit those strikeout numbers, I think
Mm-hmm.
you're starting to see that win total go up even more.
Yes.
And really, it's going to depend on that first half of the season for them. What can they do in that first half? Can they put runs on the board? Obviously, they are not going to need to score a whole lot.
That's right.
With that pitching staff that they have, um, three-headed monster. Caleb, Colin, and Pat, and
Yes.
that's three. That's three really good pitchers right there, which is gonna make it harder. Which they could skyrocket over this 7 wins easily, um, but I gotta see it. I gotta see it on the field. Putting all these guys, a new team together. You don't have that camaraderie right away. Obviously, uh, some friends there, friend groups, but how does it play out on the field? I don't know. We saw how good was Caleb all year last year.
Right.
Still lost games in the pilots.
Yep.
Does that happen? Or is it like the Melonhead situation where, okay, he is really gotten a lot better and he is now winning every game, but you got to hit to win games as well. You can't just, you know, pitch your way to every game. I mean, you kind of can, but um, pretty much every team has a guy that can pitch you there. So uh, I have him right at 7, but I would not be surprised if it's over by any means.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you just said. I also want to say, how often does Caleb show up? And it seems like he's going to be there a lot, but anytime Caleb shows up is going to be almost, if Caleb does what he did at the end of the year, almost a guaranteed win for the
Yep.
Purge if they can put runs on the board. And
Yep.
I think that's really what it's going to come down to for these guys. And you mentioned it. I had that written down as well. Greg and Brian, both are guys that can change the game with one swing. So I understand what Tom did there. Go out and get those guys. And, with Pat, we haven't seen him yet exactly, but it all seems to lead to the belief that Pat's going to be just fine once he sees the league, and
Yep.
it looks like he can hit pretty well. So I'm telling you, the
I've never
Purge can.
seen him hit with a big bat though. So
Ah, that's right. It's yellow bat for you, right? So
yeah.
and yellow bat in his league. So
Yep.
yeah, that's true.
So could be an adjustment period there,
Could
but
be
I
an
think I
adjustment.
think
Yeah.
overall they're in a good position. I I don't see them I don't see them going under that at all.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Yeah.
7 is the low mark for them.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
All right. Division winners. You gave yours first last time, so I'll give mine first this time.
Okay.
Um, Similar to you, I'm gonna take my own team. I'm gonna take the Bombers. Um, I think we're set up perfect in this division. Um, no offense to the other teams, but um, just with how I'm feeling and how I feel about my team, I I have a hard time saying that it's going to be anything else.
Yeah. I second that, man. I think the Bombers are in a good position. I thought about it with your arm. As long as you're healthy, you have Sam and you have Tommy and then you have Johnny Gunn. Like, you're getting to that big time depth pitching range. Yeah, the guns. And so all you're going to need is yourself or Tommy, Sam, some of these guys we have seen some of this pitching to connect with one. But Johnny, we don't really know what he can do at the plate. He may surprise somebody. But Ethan Weiner, we do know that guy can hit. So
Yep,
when he shows up, that may be the guy that provides that one run that the Bombers need to get that win for the night.
he's hitting leadoff opening night, baby. Let's go. Uh,
Oh boy,
yes,
what
sir.
a wow.
Yeah, little inside info there for everybody.
Okay,
All right, who you got in second place in this division?
man,
Melonheads, Purge, or Thunderbirds?
I want. I, I battled this. I still battle this right before the podcast. I got to go with the Melonheads, and I'll tell you why.
Ooh.
They just it goes back to what I said, man. They're the most cohesive team out there. When you talk trash to one Melonhead, you don't get one back; you get all five. Is what I've noticed.
Yeah,
So they're quick to they're quick to defend their own, but they got to defend it, right? They talk a
yeah,
lot of trash, but man,
yeah,
it's either you defend it, you talk trash, or you talk trash and you're losing. But I believe these guys are going to try to come out and defend that title, back to back. It's it's going to be interesting, but I do believe they have some guys on this team that want to prove that they're all stars. They want to prove that their name deserves to be mentioned in the greats of Mo Wiff, and so it's time to back it up.
yep.
And I think they'll do that.
I have the Purge. That's what I got. I'm gonna
That's
ride. I
fine.
think Caleb,
Yeah.
Caleb, I think we'll be here for a lot. And Colin looked really good yesterday as well. I saw him throw a few pitches. Uh, and like I said, I think by the end of the year, I think that's where they're gonna really pick up a lot of steam and
Yeah.
and do good things. Fucking Alexa's talking over here.
Because
Scared me. Uh, um, but yeah, I think the Purge are gonna take that second spot in this division and make the playoffs for them. So that
I
brings
like that.
us, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but I can see the
Yeah.
Melheads too. I mean, but we'll talk about that here in a second because we have our wild card picks. So take divisions out of everything. There's two wild card spots left, and there's two teams that don't make the playoffs. Um, Rory, let's start with your first wild card spot. So the better record of the wild card teams. Who do you have at that wild card one spot?
Well, I've kind of already said it, but I think the Mambas are that team that they have the division that we're all in, but I think the Mambas are going to be the team that is going to take that first wild card spot. You want to see the Mambas in the playoffs. You want to see them do well, just because you feel like you said earlier in the podcast, there's always some type of calamity that
Yeah.
occurs with these guys. But I think they find a way to get in there this year, just like they always do, and that's who I'm going with, the number one wild card spot.
Yep. For me, it's the Archers, and I think we're kind of on the same page here. It's in that division, it's two of you are gonna obviously win. One's gonna win the division and make the playoffs. in that the second one will make the playoffs in that division spot. Jeez. And then that whoever that third team is going to be that number one wild card spot. So I think all three
Correct.
of those teams are going to be in the playoffs, no doubt. Um, you can mix and match the uh Mambas, Archers, and Mojo all you want. It doesn't matter. I think those are going to be the two of the probably two of the top four seeds in the postseason. So,
Yeah, I agree with that.
all right, wild card spot number two. I will give you mine. Um, so that means I got to leave two teams out. Thunderbirds.
Ooh,
Thunderbirds get my last spot. That means the Melonheads and the Kings are out for me. I think it's going to be very, very close between all of these teams. But I think
yes.
Andrew Nichols is the key, and he wills the Thunderbirds into the playoffs.
I like
Wait.
that. Yeah, I like that. And any chance that if Andrew Nichols can knock out a Melonhead team, I'm down. Like that's fine. We don't want these guys in the playoffs
Especially
anyway.
with
They've
Josh on
shown
his
what they can
team
do.
now.
Oh, absolutely. I forgot about that. That's even
Yeah.
better. So
So,
yeah, I'll buy that. I actually had the Purge. Just because it goes back to what I said. I think the Purge
yeah.
are a scary team. If they can hit and if they can get into the playoffs, all of a sudden now everyone's nervous because Caleb's going to show up. Collins nobody to close your eyes at because he's going to be a guy. He pitched great against us towards the end of the year last year.
Yeah.
Had a good command, good velocity. So if he finds it, and then you start to worry a little bit because that Pat Ballman guy's out there, and
Yep.
he can hit. So yeah, I like the Purge to make the playoffs. I think it'll make a very interesting playoff scenario if they do.
There you go. So you got the Thunderbirds and the Kings out.
Kings, yeah,
Um,
sorry,
but like I said, hey, I think it'll be close. So
yeah,
we'll see. We're not going to get into a full playoff prediction. We'll do that way down the road. But Rory, give me one team besides the Archers who is going to bring home the trophy in season four.
well, I've been on their coattails all night, but
Yeah,
I honestly do believe this. It's the Mojo's championship to lose, and
yeah.
I felt like we ended their run last year. Love that, James Chaney. Thank you. You're the man. Yeah, I think the Mojo. I think every year though, this is not uncommon. The Mojo are every year expected to win, or at least do very well,
They're this
and
close every year.
they're this close. So, yeah, that's my team. Besides myself, I totally anticipate ending that for them, but that's what I'm
Yeah,
going with. How about you?
stuff. I could go three. I could go three teams here. It's those three teams in the American League. Man, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say the Mambas.
Wow.
Hate to say it, but I think Dutton is gonna make a huge jump this year, and I think they're gonna put it together. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I'm sure you feel the same way. When I mapped it all out on my board here, I actually had myself playing the Mambas in the championship, and I think that'd be a fun series, me versus my brother. So.
That would be fun. I'm yeah, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make that not true.
Yeah, I think everybody will. Uh, all right.
Yeah.
Last step,
All
our
right.
awards predictions. So let's get to it. Our awards predictions. So, um, very self-explanatory.
That's it, man.
We have 8 awards in the league. Yeah, 8 awards in the league. We will not cover character of the year because that's a toss-up. Like you have no way to predict that.
No.
Uh, so show us your stuff, help around the league, support us, help us, and you will get noticed. Paul Pugh last year. Uh, I
Yeah,
know Spencer already
he is
wants
a
it,
character.
but we'll see. All right, but let's start. The batting champion for this year. Last year was Jordan Smith, highest average in the league. Who will have the highest average in the league this year?
Yeah, so I have these predictions, just so you know, Cam. I have these predictions with who I think is going to win, but I put some people on a watch list
I like it. I like it.
just to let them know, put people on notice. I think there's some other people out there that we got to consider. Can't go away from my boy Jordan Smith. He has led the league last year, and what he did with that hitting streak, and basically there wasn't a pitcher that he saw that he wasn't on. And so I'm going to go with Jordan Smith because I have no other reason to move away from him. What about you?
I like it. Um, I always pick Cole for this. I'm not picking Cole this time, but I'm picking his teammate. I'm picking Ryan O'Rear.
All right. All right.
He's been pretty close every year. He is one of the tougher outs in the league. He's a dang good hitter. Um, and I think he could do it. I think
Yeah.
Ryan O'Rear, batting champ. That's
Okay.
my thing. Who do you got as guys to look out for?
I got an on watch for Ethan Bailey and Tony Cochran because they're on my team, and I'll tell you why. This is not just
Just
because
pick
they're on
all
my team.
archers.
You're hitting
Love it.
behind Jordan Smith. So
Yeah,
you got to go with these guys,
yeah,
man. You're going to have to throw to these guys, or you're going to get Jordan Smith back.
yeah.
So I'm going to put them on watch, and I also have you on watch because I know that you're ready to
Yeah.
go, and
Yeah.
you're going to face some pitching this year, but you're hungry for that batting title. I know you are.
Yeah, I know, but I never win the batting title. I always suck at the beginning of the year. It's,
It's all right.
this is how it is.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'll never win the batting title, but I appreciate it.
Might be. Yeah, no problem.
Um, but yeah, I think I mean Jason has the potential to have a bounce back year and do it. It's tough, but I could see Sam Skibby as well
Yeah,
here. But Sam, I don't know, Sam's average never really is up that high, but he just has a lot of hits, a lot of home runs.
timely,
Um,
timely.
but yeah, I think in my eyes, it's a two dog race to start the year, but obviously there's always people out of the blue. But Jordan and O'Rear are my top two.
I
So,
like it. Yeah,
all
I
right.
think that's totally fair.
Manager of the year last year was Doug Meyer leading that Mojo squad to the number one overall seed. I'll start with this one.
Okay.
The manager of the year. I'm gonna give it to. I can't just pick the fucking Mambas for everything. So I'm gonna go with Tom Wilkerson.
Ah, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Tom. I think what he's gonna do with that team and that lineup, I think you're gonna see that team transform, halfway through the year, and we'll kind of see what he puts into place. But um, I could see him being a good candidate here for manager of the year. And
Yeah. So
I don't like just for clarification for people, I don't vote for the whoever has the best record. I
no,
hate
that's
when
not
people
it.
do that because that's not
Right.
manager of the year. If you do nothing and your team is just good, like say like you guys, the Archers, you don't do much but put a good team out there. Yes,
Yeah.
you get credit for the moves you made in the offseason because that does count and you will get votes for that.
Yeah.
But it's what you do in those games, even if you might not have the most amount of wins. Obviously, you have to have a lot of wins, but and be up there. But what do you do with your pitching staff? What do you do with your lineup? What are you doing with guys that are struggling?
Yeah.
Your matchups? How are you working this? Like very detailed for me. So it'd be interesting. But go ahead. Who do you got?
Correct. And what you just said puts me out probably for manager of the year because I've pretty much laid out my plan. But I'm
But they could work, and
yeah.
it's just situation.
Yeah.
Like for you, it's your
Correct.
pitching staff. What do you do with your pitching staff? How
Yeah.
does that work? Yeah, affects everything.
Exactly. And I agree with you, unfortunately, on this side because I kind of always like to take the opposite of what you're saying just to make it lively.
Yeah.
But Tom, man, I think Tom is the guy that is in the front runner because if he can manage this purge team with Caleb and Pat and Colin and just the talent that he has on that team,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think anybody. He kind of I think the purge put out a little graphic today on X. Hey, respect is going to be earned. And Tom may earn some respect here if he can put this Purge team in contention for a playoffs because I think some people are writing him off. Let's not
Yeah.
forget Caleb, great pitcher. Colin
Mhm.
coming up.
Yeah,
very good pitcher, and then Pat. So if you can get Colin, Pat, and Caleb there at the right times, and you may very well have a +10 win
yeah,
team. I like it. I think Tom
yeah,
is the front runner here all
yeah.
day.
Doug prime to win this award again back to back as
Yep.
well with that roster, what he can do with it. Who does
Yeah.
he get to show up on what nights will
Yep.
be a big factor in it.
Yep.
And who he plays in that lineup when they're all there. I mean,
Yep.
like how do you manage a lineup of eight different guys is tough. Um, so
Yep.
so we'll see.
I agree with you. I put Doug there as on the watch list. It's going to be, Doug and Tom got the most, talent to manage his pitching wise. And then Jason, if he can
Yeah,
lead those Mudheads back. And then Nick Bone, first
yeah, love
year
that, love that.
manager, and he's going to have his hands full with his team, but he absolutely should be in the consideration.
Absolutely. All right, rookie of
Oh,
the
yeah.
year. It's a big one. Last
Yeah.
year's winner was Caleb Schweiger.
Yes.
Who is the rookie of the year in season four?
I'm going to go with the number one overall pick and Pat Ballman.
Okay, I
He,
like it.
there's not many more people with the hype that he has, and he's been setting the wiffle ball hype world on fire. But I'm looking for him to carry that energy over to Mo Wiff
Yeah.
and establish himself on this new Purge roster. Again, I go back to what I've been saying. We just don't know a whole lot yet, but Pat Ballman could be very huge for the Purge, and if he does what that Purge think he's going to do, he's going to be in my mind the front runner for Rookie of the Year.
Yep. Have, I mean, Pat's a front runner for sure. Um, I'm gonna go Jacob Keller for his hitting.
For the hitting. I
Yep.
like it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like something different. But I mean, I could see, Spencer Fox is gonna get a lot of time on the mound. I could see, I'm gonna be quiet about my own guys because I said stuff last year and that never works out, so I'm just not even gonna say it.
I'll say it for you.
Yeah,
I
there
have
you
Johnny Gunn on
go.
the watch list.
Yeah, but yeah, quite a few guys. Depending on how much Connor Jaso shows up,
Correct.
slam dunk to win this award. Um, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
good rookie class, so it'll be fun to see. All right, Gold Hands. You won this
Okay.
award last year.
The
Can you repeat?
reigning champ. Kim, I had a goal last year to win gold hands, and I'm so thankful that I did it. I appreciate the league recognizing my defensive talent, but that is not my goal this year, Cam. I actually have the guy I think is going to win gold hands, and it's not just because he does this podcast with me, but there's
Oh,
actual
let's
thought
go.
put
I
into
was
this.
flexing for fun.
I think it's you, man. I really
I
do. And I'll
hope
tell you
so.
why. You're making plays on the mound. That's a given. You've done that
Yep.
every year. But your overall second pitcher is not a guy through whoever you pick
Yep.
that's necessarily going to strike everybody out.
Give me the
And
ground
is
balls.
what I say that
Give me the ground
where I'm
balls.
going with it. He's going to get you those ground balls. And I think this is the year that Cam Smith finally gets that Gold Hands award. A couple double
Let's go.
plays, all it
Yep.
needs,
Yep.
and it's over with.
Absolutely. Love it. Yeah, I'm voting myself because I want it. But obviously Cole is one of the best fielders in the country. So he could easily win. Um, but if Dutton's striking everybody out, we'll see. So
Real quick watch list: Tony Saggio, Cole
yep.
Layton, and Josh Rogers. Look out for
Yeah.
that guy. Made great plays for the Archers last year.
Very, very true.
So
Very true.
yeah,
All right. We gotta move along. We're running out of time here on our
yep,
Zoom meeting.
for sure.
Cy Wiffle. Um, I'll start with this one. I think it's gonna be three or four guys, yeah, in the league. I think it's gonna be between myself, Caleb, James Dutton, and if he shows up a lot, Connor Jaso.
Okay,
But
okay.
I'm hoping and bring that award back home. I've let Jordan win it too many times, so I'm gonna bring it back. I'm
All
gonna bring it back. I'm gonna win Cy Wiffle this year.
right. I have no desire to go away from my guy Jordan Smith. Somebody's going to have to beat him to prove that what I already know, that Jordan Smith is probably the smartest, most selectable pitcher. He's doing things with a scalpel, right? I
Yeah.
mean, he's out there, he's surgically dissecting that strike zone. But to put you in the right frame of mind here, I do have you up there and Connor Jaso and Caleb Swigert, just like you said. Those
Yep.
guys are game changers in their own right. But until someone comes up and takes it from Jordan Smith, I got to stick with my guy.
Yep. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. Love it. All right. Silver Slugger. This was Jordan last. All these awards are fucking Jordan. Jordan wins Silver Slugger last year. Does he do it again?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Jordan again. He's too good, man, at the plate. He's just the guy he's seeing it well. If
Yeah.
he's seen everywhere. He hit a bomb off Caleb. He hit a bomb off this guy. He hit a
Yeah.
bomb off that guy. You got to come take it from him because he's the guy that he's set the mark, man. He's hitting the
Yeah.
ball well.
I got uh I got a couple guys here. Silver Slugger. Um Ryan O'Rear, I think, is a guy that could do it. I think he's gonna be the batting champ, so I think he's in this conversation for sure. Cole Layton, obviously, every year.
Yes.
He won it the first year. Jordan, yeah, but I'm not gonna pick Jordan. Sneaky up there, Tony Cochran.
That's who I have
Hitting
on the watch
behind
list.
Jordan, I think is gonna be crazy. I finished second in this award last year, so maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Tony Cochran and Ryan O'Rear finishing second in a close race.
Wow. I like it.
Bang. Off the top of my
Okay.
head there.
Off the top of your head.
All right.
I like it.
Last one. The MVP. Jordan has won it the last 2 years. Sam Skibby has won it the first year. I have finished second place every year. um, who you got MVP season 4?
Yeah, and I think I'm going to surprise a lot of people here when I say, actually, no, it's Jordan Smith. He is still the MVP of our team. He's the MVP of the league in my mind. Uh, the guy, he gets it done. He accounted for single-handed victories for the Archers last year. I can't say enough about him. I know he's my teammate. I'll never go away from saying anything bad. I don't need to. He got our
Yeah.
wins, and that's what it comes down to, right? Without him, the Archers were probably not even really serious last year. So Jordan Smith, MVP, but I do want to say on the watch list, I have Cam Smith, Kayla Schweigert, Andrew Nichols, because those guys are
Yeah.
critical to their teams,
Yep.
and any other way to say it is wrong.
To me, to win this award, you got to do it on both sides, hitting and pitching. So I think
Correct.
that, puts me and Jordan towards the top of this list. Andrew towards the top. Jason towards the top. He's finished in the top 3 before. Caleb, I think just because of his pitching is going to be so good. And if he could bring that hitting around a little bit, he will be
Oh
in
yeah.
that conversation for sure.
Yep.
But I will, if like I said earlier, if we could bet here, I'd place a bet, and I would bet that Cam Smith, myself, finishes second place again for the 4th year in a row. And then whoever else wants to win, I don't really,
2-1 odds. Cam Smith finishes
But
second.
hey, you know what? Tony Cochran up there in that category as well because he hits and pitches and does very, very well at both. And this is just a regular season awards, so
Correct.
yeah. But you got to beat Jordan. He's one of the last 2 years, but I think I will say there will be a new MVP this year.
Ooh, that's a bold prediction right there.
Yeah, it's not gonna be. It could be Sam Skibby again. Jeez,
Yep.
this is so hard.
It's very hard.
But yeah, either way, I'm coming for it. I want it. I want that
You
belt.
know,
I want that belt so bad. Oh, God, it'd be sitting right here every week. I'm mad that Jordan doesn't wear it to the field enough. Every week I'd be showing up with that thing on my shoulder. All right. All right. That was fun. Predictions. We'll get them all wrong. Maybe we'll get
That's
one or
right.
two right, and then I can brag about it. But Roy, it was fun. Thanks for
It is a good
sitting
time,
in
man.
with me on this long pod to run down our season. I'm just excited, man. We are 2 days away. 2 days away.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you guys for sticking in with us. Go like all of our stuff on social media, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, please. We're putting out all that information for the season, and we're gonna start rolling out a lot more content as the season goes on. So stay tuned. I don't know when we'll be back here on this podcast. A couple weeks maybe, who knows, but season's gonna be rolling, so we'll be pretty busy, but maybe every
Yep.
month, maybe once a month after the first month of the season.
I like it.
Um,
We'll check in, see how we've done
yep.
so far up to this point.
Yep. If you don't catch us on Thursdays at Catch 22 Miracle Field, if you're not live in attendance, you can watch all of our videos from the previous day on YouTube on Friday night starting at 6 o'clock. But we hope you're there. And if you're not, we hope you follow along on YouTube. And until then, I can't wait to see all of your beautiful faces on Thursday, baby. Let's go. Roy,
Let's go.
let's do it, baby. Thank
Can't
you for
wait.
doing this. I'm Cam Smith. That's Roy Rank. And we're out.